Welcome everyone to episode 57 of This Week in Geek. My name is Ren Geekness and I am joined by my two co-hosts coming back from Comic-Con for the first time ever, making his debut on this show as a Rotten Tomatoes approved critic. It's Zachariah Pope. How are you doing today, Zach?
Hey, thank you so much, man. I'm excited to be back here. Finally, nothing's going on, so I can be here. I miss it.
Day.
I miss it, man. I miss it. So thank you so much, man, for always having me. And I'm glad we have another person here as well.
Hi. We do. He's been joining in your stead while you were away. Patrick Burrow is back as well, a little later than usual for him. But how are you doing, Patrick?
I'm doing quite chippers. Ren knows why. Zach probably can guess why. We've had a lot of sore stuff over the last couple of days, including traps and posters, and the trailer drops today. And I am pulling an all-nighter for it.
The trailer drops today.
Yeah, at Midsummer Scream during the Saw 10 panel in about 8.5 hours.
Let's hope it's a good one. It's been what, over a decade since we had a good Saw movie? I know you liked Spyro, but you know.
Well, I rewatched it actually this week, and I'll talk about something in a moment.
Okay, he'll talk about something in a moment. Before we get started, everyone, however you're finding us, thank you for finding us, whether you're watching this live on YouTube, whether you're watching the replay, or whether you're listening to us on Spotify. You're taking us with you on your commute, on a jog, as you're crushing some iron at the gym. In case you don't know, the show works with 3 segments. First, we start off with our weekly rankings, where we run through everything we watched this past week and rank it from the worst to the best. Then we go on to the main topic of the show. That's what you see on the thumbnail, on the picture, on the title. And that's the post on the community tab for you to leave your questions, which is the third segment of the show, where you can leave your questions in the community tab post, and we'll do our best to get to it. But if you want to guarantee your question is answered and answered immediately, you can go through the tip link in the description or use the SuperChat feature. Now, recently, we've added a kind of new segment to the show that we start off because we are in this era of uncertainty that in the next weekend, we never know until the previous weekend if we're going to have a show. We've been having a really good streak, ladies and gentlemen. So the question is there a show next weekend? And sadly, I have to say to our haters that there is a show next weekend. We are back. The streak continues. So there will be a show. I don't know what it will be about, but there will be a show next weekend, whether it's just me and Zach, whether it's just me and Patrick, whether there's the 3 of us again. Maybe we'll talk Saw 10, the trailer. It sucks. It's awesome. Whatever. Anything in between. I'm just considering all the possibilities. So yeah, there will be a show next weekend, which I'm happy to report. And with that out of the way, let's get into our weekly rankings, which I will start us off with. And I watched quite a few things this week. I didn't watch a lot. I didn't watch too little, but I watched quite a few things. And I'm going to start us off at the very bottom because I just watched Justice League War World. This is the latest DC animated movie that I think premiered during the weekend of Comic-Con. And it's very lazy, narratively speaking. The best comparison I can give to it is when everyone complained that the Arrowverse Elseworlds crossover was just a setup for Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's happened again, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a setup for Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I guess that will be good, I hope. Above that, I have the previous DC animated movie, Batman, The Doom That Came to Gotham. And I'm always a big fan of Elseworld superhero stories, new interpretations on the legend of the Batman or any DC hero or any Marvel hero. But this isn't it. I like the ending a lot, but until you get to it, it's just very convoluted and it keeps you as an audience member at arm's length because it's just seeped in this mystery. You're not supposed to know what's going on. And I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know I should care, so I couldn't get too much into this film. Breaking us down right in the middle is the Secret Invasion finale. I wish it was higher. I like it more than most people. Believe me, I'm not taking that fight out of my rewrite, believe it or not. But this wasn't the way to end this show. I know a lot of you have questions in the community tab, and we'll get to it. We're going to talk a lot Secret Invasion today. But this finale had the audacity to tease us all with an actual Secret Invasion show, montaging in the last 10 minutes. Where's that show? That Secret Invasion, where the fuck is that? It's in my rewrite. I'll let you know that much by now. Over that, and these are the good things I watched this past week. After the show last week, I told Patrick, I told you all I was going to watch They Clone Tyrone, and this was really fun. I really enjoyed this. I think it becomes a little bit too conventional as it reaches the end. I think there are a few too many plot conveniences, and I don't think it dives too deep into any of its grand ideas, but I thought it was slick. I thought it was stylish. All the cast is fantastic. I was just happy to see Jamie Foxx like living it up so much, especially knowing what he has been going through personally. And it's a good time. It's not mind-blowing or anything, but it's a good time. And as my number one this week, I finally watched, because it's finally coming out in UK theaters this week, Joyride. Everything you've heard about this movie being funny and wild and outrageous, it's very true. It's also a movie that grinds to a screeching halt halfway through.
Yeah.
And then it's just all the comedy conventions you can think of. It doesn't completely lose you just because the characters are so good. The performances are excellent and has a big heart to it. But the more it goes along, the more familiar it becomes. There's a sequence, a montage, you would say, in a hotel, cutting from room to room. And it's the loudest I have laughed all
It
year.
reminded me of the sausage party sequence at the end, the way it was edited together.
Yeah, 100%. Patrick is now more curious about this movie than ever.
Hold on.
Give it a watch.
Hold the fucking horses. What movie is this again?
Joyride.
It's
2
hilarious.
words.
Oh, the
2
new,
words.
is it the new movie? Oh, I've been meaning
yeah.
to check it out. I still haven't seen it yet.
It hasn't come out in the UK yet. It's only coming out this week on Friday.
It came out the same weekend as Insidious: The Red Door here, and I just haven't found the time to go check. I still haven't seen Mission Impossible.
Again, I don't love Joyride as much as everyone else, but I do really, really like it. So when you can, Patrick, give it a watch. Zach, what do you got?
So I'm not going to share mine in ranking order besides my last place, just because I'm doing a Ninja Turtles ranking next week, and all I've watched this week is Ninja Turtle movies. So there's that. I'm not even done with it. I still have like 3 more to watch. But coming in last place is Secret Invasion. I still like the finale. I didn't hate it. I didn't mind it. I kind of just, the more you think on it, the more you're like, this should have been so much better. So I'm very excited for your rewrite, because the little glimpse you showed us.
You have seen my episode. You have read my episode 1.
Yeah. That excites me. And I'm a huge fan of episode 1 and 2, but what you're saying
episode 1 is the best Marvel show premiere. I still stand by that.
And I like the fight. I would keep the fight. There's just a lot of other things in there that's not good. So with that said, the first thing I watched this week was Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Fun. Exactly what you'd expect it to be.
I remember really enjoying that, actually.
It was fun. It was cool.
I never watched it because it's the Adam West Batman.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for what it is. It's fun. It's cool seeing him with it. You know what's funny though? Even though it's the Adam West Batman, it definitely feels more like the Batman Brave and the Bold, like more like that version of the Batman.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
It's interesting. Up next, it's the brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I got to see it. It's called Mutant Mayhem.
You're lucky.
My review's up, so I won't say so much about it, but it's the best one. Like flat out. Like I'm not done with my rewatches, but it's everything I would wanted it to be, because for the Turtles, there's like 2 iterations of it. It's either you go super dark or you go joyful and make them teenagers and fun, and that's what this one is. It's not dark, but it's Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg making a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and it's hilarious and it's funny. And Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's score is phenomenal. If you look up just the track names, they're fucking funny. Like they went fun.
I saw something about that.
And
Twitter.
it's great. Up next, I have Turtles Forever. This is the TMNT 2003 finale. Never seen this, even though I love the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This was cool. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. It was cool seeing the original 87 show.
80s.
Is that 80s
87,
show?
86.
2003. having some of the graphic novel versions come in. It was
Yeah.
fun. I'm not gonna lie. But last but not least, the thing I watched this week was a first time watch of the 2007 Ninja Turtles animated film.
I love
Nice.
that movie.
Okay,
Same.
so I've never seen it, and I've always been turned off by the animation because I think it looks like shit. I thought it looked like shit back in the day, and I still kind of think it looks like 50% of it looks like shit. But the more when I first watched it, I was like, oh, it's fine. But I can't stop thinking about it. It's actually like it was really good. It
It's
was
really
really
good. Yeah.
good.
It's great.
Like
It's really
I'm
good.
kind of surprised by it. Like I like how darker it is in a sense. Like it has the humor, but it's definitely in a darker tone. And some
It's
of
a
the
very
action
mature
scenes are great.
TMNT movie. It's a very
Yeah,
mature TMNT movie, and like the struggles that they put the characters through,
Yeah.
especially the relationship between Leo and Ralph.
yeah. So I was really for that, and the more I think about it, the more I'm on board for it. So I really liked it.
All right, Patrick, what about you?
I just did a bunch of rewatches aside from two things this week. But I should also warn you, I watched every Saw movie this week because my buddies and I did a Discord watch party where we
Oh, shit.
marathoned all 9 of them because they were like, holy fuck, these traps look gnarly. Let's all watch them together. So in last place is Saw 3D. Look, I'm going to be honest. I like all these movies for their own different reasons, but Saw 3D fucking sucks. I even went back and watched
Pink
the original
gooey
trailer.
blood. You don't love
Yeah,
pink gooey blood?
it's honestly bizarre to me why that's a choice, even because I went and rewatched like the original like official trailer that released in 2010 for the movie, and that ugly color palette and that oversaturated look to it, and the pink blood was not a fucking thing in that trailer. It looked like any other Saw movie, but then it just looked like Scream 4, where it had Vaseline over the lens come the actual film's release. But that's among many other issues with Saw 3D, from the script, the characters, the bullshit bookend of bringing back Dr. Gordon. I've always thought is fucking stupid. No way they thought, oh, we're planning on bringing back Dr. Gordon. No, he was going through a fucking lawsuit with Lionsgate between 2004 to 2009. Bullshit they planned on it. There was
And they
no guarantee.
spoiled the ending 20 minutes in when he shows up at the meeting.
That's dumb. Oh, and by the way, the other two pigheads are the two doofuses in the love triangle trap at the beginning of the movie. Great.
Oh.
It's boring as well, which is a big problem. It's always really funny seeing the kid from Final Destination play the cop, and he always calling Jill Tuck crazy. The movie's hilarious, so I'll give it that, but it's not particularly enjoyable. Next up, Jigsaw. I fucking hate this movie. This is like the only Saw movie I don't like. But the only thing I will say that puts it above Saw 3D, even though I enjoy Saw 3D more for like a comedy aspect, is the Spierig brothers did a damn good job directing this movie. The visual style, more updated. It felt like a modern take on Saw, but again, it felt like a lazy attempt at rebooting the franchise. There's not much really to talk about with Jigsaw aside from the plot holes, which I can make a 2-hour video on that alone.
No time for that.
No time for that. I've already started writing the script and I want to. Next up, Spiral. Yeah. My opinion on this movie has drastically fucking changed since I saw it in theaters. And it's not that I think this is necessarily a bad movie. I think it's just a movie with a massive identity crisis. I love the fact that it focuses on a plot involving cops and an investigation, but it's also a movie that is obnoxiously loud at all fucking times and is always moving at like 11. Like, it never has a moment to slow down. It's always at 11. And for that, this movie also wants to be a Saw movie, but it wants to be a more mature movie at the same time. But it also wants to have these gory sequences, but doesn't quite understand what made the trap special in the first place. None of the traps are winnable by default. Like, that's on purpose, obviously, if you've seen Spiral. But that also ruins a lot of, like, the likability and charm of the Saw movies. Like, they're meant to be beatable, which is why I have a vendetta against, Hoffman and fucking, Amanda in the later Saw films. I also say the movie comes to a screeching halt in the middle portion of the film. Like, it is boring in, like, the middle 30 minutes. It's not that I hate the movie. I think it actually gives Saw a reason to exist in the modern day after the franchise originally ended compared to Jigsaw. But it's just not a great movie. Hopefully Saw 10 will change that, though. Next up, Scream Episode 4. It's fine. I'm watching Zach. If you don't know, I'm watching the Scream MTV series for reactions, and episode 3 was phenomenal, the best episode thus far. Episode 4 is the second best, but again, it's just a sort of a screeching halt episode that feels like filler, but it's like, ooh, we're dealing with the repercussions. The timeline makes no fucking sense. While these characters are doing shit that is like a week later after the events of the ending of episode 3, we have other characters dealing with shit in interchanging scenes like 24 hours afterwards, and it makes no fucking sense. But if you think about it too much, you're also forgetting it's an MTV fucking stream TV show. So it's perfectly enjoyable. Next up, my most unpopular opinion, Barbie. I didn't love Barbie. I thought it was fine. I really enjoy the visual scope of this movie. I think Margot Robbie, I think everyone in this movie, as a matter of fact, are really great. I saw a lot of shade being thrown at Henry Golding, but he was my favorite Ken in this.
He's not in the movie, though.
Henry, huh?
Simu? You mean Simu?
Oh, fuck me! Simu! Oh, I feel so fucking
racism! I'm kidding.
That's a way to get cancelled on YouTube in 2023. Whoops. Simu,
I got the scoop on my show.
Simu, my fucking bad. He was one of my favorites in the movie, actually, out of the Kens. I just love the macho sort of back and forth between him and Ryan Gosling. I thought it was fun. Michael Cera, never thought I'd love him as Alan. I think the message of this movie is great as well. I just think the messages to both the Kens and the Barbies is a little bit heavy-handed, and at that, it is at the expense of greater characters and world building for what the movie tries to provide. I think that these are very important messages that are handled, for the most part, very well, but it is at the sacrifice at the greater picture for everything else that makes a movie come together and makes me personally love a movie. Granted, I have been listening to the soundtrack on fucking repeat ever since I saw it. I have blasted I'm Just Ken on repeat, like time after time on my, hour-long commutes to work and from. Like, it's just, yeah. Next up, Saw 1 to 6. I'm just going to put them all in. It's one thing. Saw 1 through 6 is like as far as I'm concerned, Saw 1 through 6 is like a great fucking marathon. Like, my buddies and I really stopped enjoying these movies come Saw 3D onwards. Like, I still enjoy them, but my mates were really fucking starting to hate them Saw 3D onwards. They laughed at Chris Rock, though, and Spiral quite a bit.
I did, too.
But Saw 1 through 6 is just a fun fucking, like, binge to do. Like, it feels the most consistent out of the franchise, just watching them all back to back. Saw 4 is a bit of a drop, and so is 5, although I have come around on 5 quite a bit. I actually have started to appreciate where they were going with that movie, as opposed to my opinions on these movies are always fucking changing. Let's just put it that way. But Saw 3 still sucks in my opinion. But that's also because it's way too fucking long. It's 2 hours. And there's a lot of shit that could easily be removed. And the most interesting stuff being Lynn, Jigsaw, and Amanda is really played down in comparison to the slow-ass motherfucking Jeff stuff. But, we all had fun, and seeing my mates' reactions over Discord was really fucking hilarious as well. Like, that was very entertaining to sit through, seeing them all react to the gory sequences. And none of them getting the twist by the end of the first movie or the second movie for that matter. No one saw those coming. And I'm just sitting here going, I wish I could be where you guys are right now and witness this for the first time.
I thought you meant they didn't get the twist, like they didn't realize how big a deal was that the fucking corpse gets up or that the kid...
No. They never saw it coming. Like, they were straight up like, Ben from Lost is Jigsaw. And then they're thinking back and they're like, oh, no fucking way. It was that obvious. Next up, Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's fucking amazing. I went and saw it again, this time in 70mm. I am sorry, Zach, and I'm sorry, Ren. I would have given this movie an A+, but the theater I saw it at the press screening did have issues with the audio.
I didn't give it an A+.
I would have given it an A+ if it wasn't for the audio issues I had in my press screening. But now that I've seen it a second time with a different sound system, seeing it in 70mm, I'm like, oh, I can actually understand what they're saying in all the scenes I couldn't beforehand. So it was a problem with the theater.
So it was a theater,
yeah.
I remember
which
us
was really
discussing
annoying.
it last week.
It was very annoying. Number 1, talk to me. This is my favorite movie of the year. Still is after a rewatch. This movie's fucking awesome. Nice to see some Aussie love in the horror community, and it does prove that you can have YouTubers make damn good movies as a directorial.
Hope so. Hope so. One day I'll prove it. All right, everyone. With that out of the way, let's get into your weekly rankings. And we starting with Geek OVP, my weekly ranking. Number 7, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Number 6, Secret Invasion Finale. Number 5, Secret of the Ooze, which is the best live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Number 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990. Number 3, The Other Guys. Number 2, Black Dynamite. Who's interrupting my kung fu? And number 1, The Invincible Adam Eve special, which I did just watch this morning, and I forgot to rank it. I would probably rank it above They Clone Tyrone, but below Joyride. All right. Nathan Madigan. Number 3, Beau is Afraid. Number 2, Knock at the Cabin. And number 1, The Verdict, which I'm not familiar with that one. I know we have more. Tony Movie Chappie. Number 5, National Lampoon Loaded Weapon, which I'm not sure it is. I'm not sure what it is. No, Loaded Weapon 1 and Senior Trip. So I'm not sure if these are 2 movies or if that's a loaded title. Number 4, National Lampoon Movie Madness 3 Superhero Spoof Movie. Number 2, Scary Movie 3 and 4. And number 1, Naked Gun 2. And we have... Nope, we just have Tony Movie Chappie again. Demonician Scott comes in right on clutch. Number 6, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. Number 5, Transformers Dark of the Moon. Number 4, Age of Extinction. Number 3, The Last Night. And this one hurt my heart to see it so high up. Number 2, After Lost series, which I'm not familiar with. And number 1, Secret Invasion 3 episodes. I don't know which 3 episodes, but 3 episodes of Secret Invasion. Hopefully it's the earliest 3 episodes. All right, everyone. With that out of the way, we need to talk some very, very, very bad news. Yesterday, Sony
Craven
went through
time.
a slew. It's Craven time. My favorite part of Oppenheimer was when he blows up the bomb and says it's up in time, and everyone cheers.
Oh boy.
So yesterday, Sony went through a slew of delays for their movies, including Craven being delayed for August next year, which is just laughable. It's going for that Morbius record.
And New Mutants.
And New Mutants. Was New Mutants delayed that much?
New Mutants was delayed by like 4 years.
New Mutants had the records before Morbius, and then Morbius beat it.
Did it really?
But was the New Mutants delayed like after it was
multiple
completed?
Times? Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
Okay, I didn't remember that. I remember Morbius was
Fox
completed,
deal.
and they. Yeah.
The Fox deal delayed it. COVID delayed it.
Okay, so it was only delayed by like a total of 2 years, and whereas Morbius was 3 years.
Yeah, Morbius has a record then. But I think New Mutants had like the most dates. So New Mutants kept moving for like each 2 months, and then 1 year, and then another 2 months or so, something like that. Yeah.
There was like 9 dates for New Mutants or something, and like 5 for Morbius or something.
Oh, okay. So Craven is going for that record. Madam Web was delayed and is now coming out Valentine's Day next year, folks. So Deadpool. I don't even have a joke for that.
Do it Deadpool way. It's going to be the new Deadpool.
Yeah. It's going to be the new Deadpool, except nobody's going to like it.
Oh, fuck.
It's the most wide, though, of any comic book movie.
Of all of the ones they could have done, Madam Web.
It's Sony. Are we really surprised?
I mean, they're releasing Venom 3 like a month later or some shit. That's
which
like
is also
March? That's what I mean. It's March next year or some shit?
I didn't even... Now it's coming out in August, Venom 3, but...
okay.
I
thought Venom was July. I thought Venom was July.
Okay. Now it's August, and I don't know... I don't think this one is too big a delay, so there's not much to talk about that one. And also, they were still shooting, and they hadn't been shooting for too long when the strike started. So obviously they stopped because of the strike, but they were still shooting like in July.
Venom 3 started shooting?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
had no
received an
fucking idea.
availability request to be Tattoo Man as an extra on it. I couldn't accept it because I was working the day they were shooting, but yeah. So yeah, I could have been also Tom Hardy's co-star, not just Henry Cavill's co-star. So there you go. And they delayed Gran Turismo for, hold on, sit down for this one, a total of 2 weeks. Here's the real kicker, folks. Because they want the audience to promote this movie since the stars can't. The stars can promote the movie. You're just not willing to pay them what they deserve. So that's a whole nother situation, Sony.
And
I think it's really funny because they're actually counting on this movie to have an audience. There's going to be a total of 3 people watching this movie in those 2 weeks. This movie was going to flop anyway. Now it's going to flop even more. I think the 3 people who are going to watch it are going to really love it. But yeah, 3 people.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm still seeing it this actually this Friday. But the only reason I'm seeing it this Friday is
I'm
because
seeing it on Tuesday.
Well, they're doing a fucking special event for people in Australia who are PlayStation Plus members, where you can. I shit you not. It's a PlayStation Plus fan screening on
the 3 people I was talking about.
3 people, one for each, one from each showing, because they have 2 in Melbourne at one theater, and then they have 1 at another theater like 20 k's away in Melbourne. So I'm flying down to Melbourne after the Meg on Thursday, so I can actually see it on Friday.
I'm gonna watch that on Friday. I keep forgetting.
But like, I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck is the point of this? No one else is allowed in unless they're a PlayStation Plus member. But I can guarantee you, no one who has a PlayStation Plus subscription even knows this movie's fucking coming out.
Didn't I tell you it was gonna be 3 people? I nailed it. I knew there was. I planned it all. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm gonna be all 3 of those people too. I'm gonna go to each one because what is it? Apparently, Orlando Bloom and David Harbour are meant to be there, and I highly fucking doubt it.
Ah, nice. Wait, but they can't.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I fucking mean.
If you're watching right now, you're like, oh, you said it were bad news, but until now you're like laughing at all these movies. Well, because the real news is none of those movies. Because honestly, I don't care about Craven or Venom 3 or Gran Turismo. I don't think Zach cares. I think Zach maybe care about Venom 3. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you care too much about the other 2.
I'm interested in Venom. I'm interested in Craven. I don't care about Gran Turismo. I see it Monday, so we'll see if I like it. But
Patrick is interested in how his PlayStation Plus subscription has finally paid off somewhat, but other than that, I don't think.
No, it hasn't. Lately, my PlayStation Plus subscription has been paying for nothing but debt because there's nothing worth getting.
Well, you're seeing Gran Turismo, Patrick. The most anticipated movie by 2 other people other than yourself.
Oh, fucking joy.
The real news, however, my friends, is that not at all too surprising, but nevertheless sad. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse has been delayed indefinitely. We knew this was coming. It was essentially prophesized ever since Across the Spider-Verse came out and all the news came out about the working conditions for the animators, knowing what state of development or of post-production or production even, let's say, the movie was at. We knew somehow, some way, this was happening. And I want to state right now, this is not good news in any way. I think I speak for all 3 of us. I think I speak for all of you in the live chat watching right now, or any of you listening to us, any of you watching the replay. We're all very disappointed. Let me state a silver lining before diving into how bad this is. They did not give it a date in 2026. So this indefinite delay could mean that it comes out still in 2024. I'm not saying it is going to happen. But I'm saying the fact that they did not date it to 2026 means that we might not need to wait until 2026 or even 2025. So let's look at it now from that prism. That said, I see a lot of people saying, oh, just pay the actors, just pay the right. No. The film is written. The film is perhaps already recorded. I think the real problem here is the animation. And again, it's not a surprise, but they need to figure this shit out. The big problem, especially when we're in an environment where there's a strike happening for actors, for writers, VFX artists, animators, they don't have a union. They can't strike. Or if they do strike, it will serve nothing. It will not serve them. You will not serve their goals. You will not serve anything. But I think it's really sad that we've reached this point when, as soon as movie theaters were barely starting to recuperate and getting back into normalcy after COVID, we're hit with the strikes, we're hit with the delays, and we're hit with this condition of the studios not wanting to pay the writers and actors fairly, of the studios not even wanting to go back into negotiations. Nothing. And it's sad for us as an audience, it's sad for the industry as a whole, and it's sad for movie theaters. It's them who are going to suffer first and foremost, and then it's us. And soon enough, it's not happening right now. I don't think we're really going to see the impact of this, at least of the writers' point of view. I don't think we're going to see the impact of it until early 2024. I think we're going to see the impact of the actors with nothing going into production very, very soon, unless they finally solve it. But it's just really sad. Now, it only happened with Sony. Yesterday, as soon as Spider-Verse, Kraven, Venom, stuff started getting delayed, I was just refreshing my Twitter going, who else? Who else? Who else? No one else.
That's probably coming next week.
Yeah, that's exactly. For now,
Didn't
nothing.
Deadpool
but...
3 get delayed?
Not yet. It will.
No. It will.
Probably.
I thought it did. I swear I saw something that it got delayed.
It didn't get delayed.
It got delayed like a month ago at this point or something, but it
didn't get delayed a month ago. It got pushed up. It was supposed to come out in November next year. It got pushed all the way to May. It's not coming out in May. Thunderbolts is not coming out next year either.
No. And the longer this goes, the bigger the delays will be, the more the delays will be, and the less things you will see going, movie X, Y, and Z started production. You're not going to see that for a while. Zach, what are your thoughts on all these delays, but essentially the only one we don't like, which is Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, so I asked around a lot to see what was going on. So the voice actors have actually, or voice actor, I guess they're not voice actors, they're actually just actors, but they have not recorded a single line for the new film. There's certain scenes done because they took them out of the first movie or the second movie to put into the third, but they haven't even done a single recording. So like Nicolas Cage hasn't even came in yet. So
wow,
that's not there. It is mostly for the animation though, and the reason it's indefinitely is because they genuinely do not have a single clue. And now it's at the point where they don't know where to put it next year because they have Sony has four Marvel films to release next year. That doesn't include the MCU. That doesn't include probably Aquaman getting pushed again, which at this point Warner Brothers just should drop it because it's not going to make more than $10 at the theaters. I don't know. It's terrible and it's a horrible thing. And I'm sure next week our topic will once again be,
more delays.
Everything is delayed.
Yeah,
everything.
Movies are canceled. I'm gonna get the exact same thumbnail from our previous podcast when we talked like movies are canceled forever, and I'm just gonna say 2.0.
Because
the episode.
I'm telling you right now, Dune. I don't know if Dune comes out this
year. Shut up.
I don't.
Shut up.
It won't come out this year.
Shut up. All of you shut up. I don't want to hear it.
Who do you think the next big film to move? I think Ninja Turtles would have moved already if it didn't.
It might in Australia still. It might still in Australia.
Blue
Beetle might.
Honestly, I think. Honestly, I think it was a mistake. I think the person running the social media account didn't get the memo. But we should all go to Portugal in September because just yesterday, my local cinema chain back home, they put up the trailer for Challengers saying how it's coming out in September. And I'm like, let's go, baby. It's totally not, but let's go.
I'm on my way. I finally watched that trailer. It looks awesome. It looks really good.
So good. And I'm not going to see it until April.
Hang on. I think that comes out in September for us as well.
Not anymore.
Well, it's not.
Oh.
It's not.
I'm so happy.
By the way, Zach, how many movies did you say Sony had next year?
Just in Marvel terms, like 4.
4. And without Spider-Verse, none of them will be good ones. So we got a lot to look forward to. Patrick, talk us through your feelings, your emotions. Don't repress them. Vent out. This is a safe space. Your thoughts on Beyond the Spider-Verse getting delayed. Not just delayed, indefinitely. And why it has been delayed.
I said it a few weeks ago to a buddy of mine, and I sort of predicted that Spider-Verse would get delayed indefinitely. I said to a buddy of mine, it was at work, and I just said, there's no way in fuck this movie's coming out next year. And he's just turned around and he's gone, why do you say that? I'm like, well, I saw on Twitter that apparently it took 4 years for them to make this one fucking scene. And they didn't pay their fucking animators well at all, like right. And not only that, they didn't pay the actors and everything substantially, and the strike going on right now. It's a no-brainer. This movie is not just going to get delayed. It's going to be indefinitely, because I highly fucking doubt that with the amount of time it took to just animate that next movie being Across the Spider-Verse, that they'd be able to have this next movie out by next year.
Do you think, by the way, because I didn't ask Zach this, so after you give your thoughts, we'll go back for this quick one. Do you think in any way, there's any way to look at the delayed indefinitely in a better light than, let's say, if they said delayed until August 22nd, 2026, or a random date in 2026?
I'd personally rather it be delayed indefinitely, because it gives the chance for the strike to play out, for a good deal to come out, for the actors and the writers to be paid substantially, and then for a movie like Beyond the Spider-Verse, for them to learn from their mistakes of Across the Spider-Verse and pay the animators substantially with a more friendly environment that's not working them to death however many hours a day, 7 days a fucking week.
I would even argue, like, not even pay them better, because that's a much bigger problem that's beyond that, but just give them normal work hours.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I know it's not in the same light, but I work a minimum wage fucking job, and I work 10 to 12 hours a day.
Same.
I understand how it feels to do all this bullshit and to get nothing and then have nothing left over after fucking bills. And that's not even with the pay. Like, if the pay was slightly higher with the hours cut down slightly to make up for that loss, it would feel more worth it. But when you're working so many hours a fucking day for so little, it honestly feels like a massive kick in the nuts over and over and over again. So them delaying the movie indefinitely, it gives them the time to play out the strike, to have a good deal work out so they can pay the actors substantially, and then also have better working environments for the animators and everyone else involved. Because from what was revealed about Across the Spider-Verse, I just looked at it and I've gone, what the fuck?
Yeah. I think the sad part though is I don't think, like, with the strikes, that's not going to help the animators. I mean, hopefully because the news coming out, that's going to help.
It's not.
But I'll tell you right now, with them delaying stuff, that doesn't give me confidence in them saying that they're going to give them a good deal, because they're just delaying it until they end up going bankrupt. Like, I mean, literally, like that's literally what they're trying to do. So at this point, unless, like, top tier actors, like all the big ones who aren't, on the picket lines when they should be on the picket lines too, instead of just vocally saying their support, because that's not support. Like, the biggest actor I think I've literally seen do the picket line this week were Colin Farrell and Jack Black. And
Jack Black was there. Nice.
I saw Ron Perlman.
He's big too, but to a certain extent, where's Dwayne Johnson? I know he did the donation, but why is he not out there too?
Exactly.
There's a reason. There's a reason.
They're on vacation.
Well, he's doing wrestling related stuff.
Okay.
Because he's striking as an actor, he's going back to wrestling a little bit, which honestly, it's smart. It's smart, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Please,
so
he has another way in of getting.
Oh, if that's the case, please have him punch the shit out of Logan Paul. Please.
He's not going to be. He's actually going to get involved with this brand new. Sorry to go off on a tangent. With this brand new Aussie wrestler, who just came in, a big prospect called Grayson Waller. He's just a very, very good, like, dickhead. He's a very good
guy. Aussie charm.
And they're like raising his status up by having him interacting with legends. So he's interacted with John Cena. He's interacted with Edge. And the way he's doing this is like he's tweeting out on social media to The Rock, tagging him and all, like insulting him, and you're like, oh, okay, that's part of his like gimmick character. The Rock is responding. The Rock is interacting back. So SummerSlam next Saturday, The Rock is coming back to the WWE.
So, side note, really quickly, it's a very brief one, but you mentioned John Cena. I went with a big group to go see Barbie. It was like 15 of us. The biggest laugh we got, because we're very big into like memes, like whether it's offensive, whether it's just stupid. We're also into John Cena memes. And the moment we saw John Cena as the fucking Mermaid Ken, we all burst into laughter.
I did not know
like,
he was in this movie.
I half expected us to get thrown out because we were belly laughing so loud. Like, it was obnoxious laughs. Although, missed opportunity for him to not come in and suplex someone during the fight sequence. Like, I was waiting for him to dive out of the water and just suplex someone as a mermaid.
Yeah, sure. Zach, what do you think? Do you see the indefinitely in? Do you think there's anything positive to glean from it? Be over rather them announcing a specific date like 3 years from now, or do you think that would have been better?
I don't know. I mean, maybe a date would have been better, but at this point, I don't know. I knew, we all knew it was going to get delayed. It wasn't coming out that day.
It was prophecy.
So, what was its original date? March next year or something?
March 28th or 29th.
Yeah,
like literally
no fucking way.
Just 2 days before when this one came out, but like next year. Yeah. So even less than a year was its original date.
Yeah, there was absolutely no fucking way.
All right.
So,
final question before we
man.
move to the questions. And it's the question nobody wants to ask. The question no one wants to consider. And we've been comparing like this situation, like theaters, the industry was just coming back from COVID, and now we hit a similar, obviously it's not the same, slag all over again. Zach, will this get as bad? Will this last as long as the impact of COVID? Yes or no?
No. Well, I think the impact, yes, but the strikes, no. I think the strikes.
No, not.
But the impact. You know what? I'm gonna make a good prediction. I want to make a hopeful prediction. I think since A24 is still allowed to make movies right now, there's a chance that independent studios who are not being struck, who are still able to make films, might succeed a little bit at the box office a bit more because of things like this. You know where I think a lot of people aren't talking about though? I think TV is going to start to take a hit by next year too, because now nothing's like TV. Because usually TV, how it is they don't sit on TV; they just fucking release it. Movies they'll sit on for a while. So I think next year we're going to see where a lot of these streamers don't have shows. So maybe they start putting movies.
We'll get House of the Dragon, and that's it.
And Lord of the Rings, but that's not really that fun.
Well. We don't get as excited for that. Patrick?
I liked Rings of Power. Fuck off.
I did too.
I liked that show all the way through.
I did not.
I loved it. The strikes definitely won't last as long, but I think it's going to have a massive impact on both theaters, streaming, and TV. And I think that impact will last for quite a substantial amount of time. If not, might put the industry into a massive crisis. Because they're not allowed to make movies. Like Zach, I hope a lot of independent films are able to get recognized and be more successful because of this. I really am. Like, one of the current ones is Talk to Me. I really hope. But at the same time,
projected to make 10 mil this week, which should be higher than its budget. So
yeah, then that's really good. But I think it's going to have a massive impact on the industry to a point that we're going to stop seeing a lot of those big budget films for a long, long time. But I also think with the strike and the impact it will have, it might also have a silver lining of bringing a lot of franchises, a lot of big budget movies in general out of the dirt in regards to just not making their budgets back or not making as much money as they projected, because they're going to be bringing down those budgets to earn a profit going forward and appreciate their filmmakers and those involved a lot more as well. I think overall, I honestly don't think either end is going to get a good deal, whether it's the people that are leading the strike and those that can benefit from it in regards to better deals, to be paid better. I also don't think that the leaders are going to have a good idea, because they are going to have to realize sooner or later that they are going to have to make some subsequent changes for the strikes to end and for things to get back to production and the norm of things in regards to movies being made and releasing, and same with TV shows and all that are union based. With that, both sides are going to suffer. I think the higher ups need to suffer fucking more because they're being inherently selfish at the moment. But I definitely don't think the WAG or the SAG are going to get the deal that they exactly want either. But I think the silver lining is that they will get a raise of some sort that is more substantial. But I do also think that it's going to have an impact on the industry, where a lot of people are going to realize we were starting to take it for granted, not just the films and the industry itself, but also the people that make these things happen. So I think the impact could be for the better, and it will be a lasting effect. But I think the industry is going to take a massive hit for quite some time. And 2024 is going to be a big playing factor in that, because we've had a pretty big year thus far, and so was last year following COVID. I think we're going to have a pretty light year next year because of it, though. But I think that we'll have a light at the end of the tunnel come the end of everything as well. Hopefully. That's my hopeful thoughts, at least.
Yeah. I hope so, man. I hope so. It's going to be fun to see the Oscars next year, where it's just writers, directors, and actors to one side and producers to the other, and then Ron Perlman comes on stage and slaps every single one of them.
Except no one's gonna meme it, because like Chris Rock and Will Smith, because people will think it's justified this time.
Yeah. And if you meme Ron Perlman, he'll go after you next. All right, exactly. Everyone. With that out of the way, let's go to the best part of the show, the happier part of the show in this case, and discuss your live questions. Again, we don't guarantee we'll get to all of them, but we'll do our best. And we start with Master of Gaming. Do you think Barbie will make $1 billion worldwide? Yes. Right now, it's not a question of if, it's a matter of when. It's just a matter of time. I think by the end of this upcoming week, because it's already on 700 million plus, and that's before.
Is it really? Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, by the end of this weekend,
it reached 700 on Thursday. So by the end of this week, it will be over $1 billion. After that's just change. Unfortunately for the producers, not the actors. All right. Master of Gaming also asked, what do you think of Paramount Pictures abandoning original animated films in favor of IPs like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem? Hear me out. The easy answer for this is dumb decision. They should bet on everything. They shouldn't count anything out. And I agree. I definitely agree with that. I don't think it's an either or world we live in. I think you can do both. That said, tell me the last Paramount original animated movie that was successful, that was good, that you remember. I'll wait.
Yeah, I need to bring.
How much did that make at the box office? Actually,
it made enough for a sequel this year. And it
came out last year. Saw Patrol.
Australia can't participate because Paw Patrol is coming out a week before Saw.
But like even Paw Patrol, by the time the movie came out, it's a franchise. It's not an original.
Yeah.
And it's had a show. It had a show before that.
Yeah,
so it
exactly.
Doesn't count either.
Exactly. So. It has had a show for a while.
How much did Flushed Away make?
How long
you have to go that far back, man.
That's 178 million.
No, that's 2007 because it was a ripoff of Ratatouille, and Ratatouille was 2007. So it's either 2007 or 2008.
Kung Fu Panda back in the day was 631 million. Barnyards.
That's Paramount? I thought that was DreamWorks.
In association.
Yeah, it is DreamWorks. Yeah.
In association.
But yeah, that's my answer. Zach, what do you think of this like hard line decision?
Well, Paramount's going out of business almost, so they just need wins.
Yeah.
I mean that's the way I view it. It sucks, but that's also just the streamline thing. I mean, if you want original animated films, open your mind up to more than just the main studios. That's the way I would view it. There's always going to be someone making an original animated film. There's always going to be someone making, and would I love for Paramount to do it? Absolutely. But guess what? Paramount probably would do it if people supported their other animated. So support Ninja Turtles, because yes, we'll get more Ninja Turtle movies, but what do they do with that profits? They don't just keep making more Ninja Turtle movies with it. They push it into other things. That's why some studios are smart. What they do is, okay, cool, this blockbuster just made us $1 billion. We can take some of these profits and go make original films like The Creator. The Creator was made for $85 million.
I can't wait to see that.
They probably took hopefully that doesn't get pushed back, but they probably took some profits from a Marvel film and gave it to him. I mean that's how it goes. So it's interesting how it works and everything like that, but his comments didn't really, I think it was more of, if you didn't read the full interview, than the main straight thing of it all. Because what else are they doing over there? They're doing Avatar animated films. Paramount doesn't make a ton of animated films just on their own.
No.
It really is this, and this. But Paramount does do original properties. They do give rights to that. A Quiet Place is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Yes, now it's a franchise, but that first film, they took a risk on. They didn't have to make it.
Which is what I was going to say. You want to get franchises? You know how franchises happen? There's an original that happens beforehand.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. So they have been, from my eyes, what I've seen Paramount doing lately is, yes, they have been focusing a lot on IP. Top Gun, Transformers,
Scream,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Scream.
Yeah.
The reason they're doing that is because they, out of all the studios, they're probably the ones that are going to go out of business. It's just the truth.
Yeah,
they do not.
Are they gonna get caught up by someone else? Apple or Amazon?
Honestly, I'll tell you right now, we're living in an age where, this is off topic, but Apple and Prime, you're gonna see them buy a big company soon. You're gonna, and that's the truth. I don't see Netflix as a thing in 5 to 6 years. One of them will buy it.
Ooh.
I don't. Right. Paramount, 1000%. One of them will buy it. To a certain extent, to what the FTC will allow. So we'll see.
I think Apple, for instance, would be allowed to buy. Let's give the example. I think Apple would be allowed to buy Paramount.
Yeah,
and they could,
Prime, because Prime just bought MGM. So
yeah, they could buy it like 10 times over.
They could buy anything. They could buy
They could buy Disney. Yeah,
I still think they will.
I don't think so. Patrick, what do you think? Like, should they make more original animated movies? Should they give up on it entirely?
Well, looking at their box office record from original to big IPs, to give you any idea, the last big IP movie that made any subsequent, money that competed with its budget was South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut back in 1999 as an IP, which made, more than 5 times its budget. Whereas if you look at a movie like the Bee Movie, it didn't even double its budget. And that was the last, non-IP animated movie that Paramount made.
And thank fuck it didn't become a franchise.
Yeah, thank fuck. But even then, that was also an association with DreamWorks, if I'm not mistaken.
Ah, okay.
So the only original IP, the original animated movies that Paramount has made any subsequent amount of money on, which again didn't even double its budget, by the way, was in association with another IP. Whether you're talking about Kung Fu Panda, Bee Movie, Flushed Away, Barnyard fucking flopped, and that was Paramount's attempt at, an original fucking animated film. I think them going big IP and franchise only animated films going forward is actually a very smart choice, because it's a good moneymaker for them. They know these things are going to make money, and therefore it gives them the opportunity to then go and make original stuff that could become IPs to make them once again more money. DreamWorks has always been very good at this. DreamWorks for a period of time did only do IP stuff. And then they went and did more original stuff. You look at the era of the How to Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda sequels. There is not a single original DreamWorks movie that comes to mind that made a lot of money in comparison to the IPs like from Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon at the time. Not to mention the amount of time and effort that went into those movies comparatively. So I think this is a very smart choice by them. It's nothing that I necessarily agree with because I would prefer more original stories. Granted, this is coming from the guy who's excited for the 10th Saw movie. Take that with a grain of salt, therefore. But at the same time, on their behalf, it's a very smart choice. So whether I agree or disagree, it's a good money-making decision on their part.
Yeah, true. All right. Master Gaming also asks, do you think Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig will get more opportunities in Hollywood because of Barbie potentially grossing $1 billion worldwide? Absolutely. That's just the way it works. Because they're already big stars, depending on how hard it flopped anyway, if it were to flop, I think they would still be okay. But the fact that it's grossing so much, absolutely they'll get even more opportunities. That's just the logic progression of things. Gentlemen, anything to add?
I have nothing. I'm good. Pretty much same thoughts as you, man.
All right. Lady Aaron, Ren, thoughts on the Venice Film Festival lineup, and are there any movies that you're excited to see? So I'm very excited for the Venice Film Festival, don't get me wrong. But there was a part of me that couldn't help but look at the lineup and say, how much different would this be if not for the strike? There's just a lot in that lineup that I'm like, I'm excited for this, I'm excited for this, I'm excited for that, I'm excited for that. But like Challengers were like the only one we knew. But what else would have come to the Venice Film Festival if not for the strikes? How big was the impact really? It's something we'll actually never know, I think. And if we will know, maybe by the time the strikes are over only. But yeah, other than that, I'm very excited for a lot of movies. I posted on Twitter all the movies I'm going to watch. The Kane Mutiny Court Martial, the new Willem Friedkin film, the director of The Exorcist. It's not a horror movie or anything, but it's the director, so I'm excited. Michael Mann's Ferrari, David Fincher's The Killer, Pablo Larraín's El Conde. This is the director of Jackie and of Spencer. Hitman is the new Linklater film starring Glenn Powell.
Let me say something.
Lauba.
I've heard that movie's awesome.
It looks awesome from the one picture I've seen.
Some people who've seen it. Yeah, I've heard it's awesome. So
Finalmente L'Alba, I don't know what it is, but I saw Lily James was in it, and that's reason enough for me to go see it. Maestro is the Bradley Cooper film about the maestro, the composer. Origin, I don't remember exactly what Origin is, but I remember there was something about it that this is the new Ava DuVernay film. That's what it is. So I'm going to watch it. Memory, also don't remember what this is, but I'm going to watch it. Poor Things, which is Yorgos Lanthimos' new film. Hokage, not related to Naruto, looks awesome. Japanese horror film by the looks of it. So yeah,
Interesting.
Day of the Fight. Also don't know what this is, but it's a boxing movie and it has Ron Perlman in it. And right now I'm on the boat of always supporting Ron Perlman in anything he does. Harry Sugar, the new Wes Anderson
Unless it's
film.
Monster Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even remember he was in that. In the Land of Saints and Sinners, also don't know what this is, but it's an Irish drama, and a lot of great Irish actors are on it, including Liam Neeson and Kerry Condon, who was amazing in Banshees of Inisherin last year. And finally, The Promised Land, which is a Danish film starring Mads Mikkelsen, and that's all the reason I need. Also, excuse me, gentlemen, talk about the Venice Film.
Oh, okay.
I
have nothing to talk about it with. So
neither do I. I haven't
just
seen
go to the
anything.
next question. I have the next question available. So it's up to you.
Sweet. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to go, because I haven't seen the lineup of Venice Film Festival. Although that
neither did
Hokage film sounds very interesting.
I'm back.
Oh, he's back. You can keep talking about the Venice. We don't know anything about it. So
you don't know anything. All right.
Next question.
Before we move on to the next question, big shout out to Zeke, a big friend of the channel, big friend of us who just supported the channel through the super chat. Thank you so much, Zeke. We appreciate the support, and we always appreciate having you on, my friend. So Venice Film Festival. After that, with Barbie doing extremely well at the box office currently, how much do you think Barbie could make within its time in theaters? Over $1 billion. After that, it's just change for everyone involved. The bar billion is going to be reached very fast. I think it's going to be the highest grossing movie of the year.
I agree.
Easily.
I think it beats Mario. I think it beats Mario.
I think it beats. I don't think it beats Mario by like a
That
lot,
much.
but I think it beats Mario.
Maybe by like 100
It's
million is
projected
probably my
to
guess.
at this. Yeah,
It is,
as
right?
long as it doesn't get hit. Yeah.
Yeah, and right now there's nothing that can be promoted to the point of beating it. So, all right. Next up, also from Lady Aaron, with Spider-Man
I
Beyond
have
the
the next
Spider-Verse.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm following along too. So, with Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse delayed now and undated because of the strike, do you think that other anticipated films early next year are likely to follow suit and do the same thing? Yeah, Kung Fu Panda 4, no longer January, March now. So, took the Spider-Verse date. Smart of them. Thank you, Patrick.
Patrick. This guy's really cool. I don't know if any of you guys know this man, but he's really cool. He's a really good friend of the channel. He just supported us as well. And I never gotten offered Australian dollars before, so I'm very flattered.
Yeah, who is this guy? What even are Australian dollars? Are they made out of kangaroos?
Australia's not even real. So
fuck off.
If anything, his picture
You know
should
what?
be upside down.
If I have an Aussie barbecue with prawns on the Barbie, by the way, prawns,
yes,
shrimp, prawns on the Barbie, you're not invited.
But Australia is my #1 dream destination.
No, you're invited. We can sit down and watch all the Australian horror films.
Nice. I have a friend from Australia coming over next week. So this week, actually, he's flying over now.
Hang on, and he's not bringing me with him?
I mean, you talk to Dave Lee down under about that. I'm not responsible.
Dave, I need to send you a text right fucking now.
He's not going to see it. He's on the plane watching Avatar: The Way of Water. The way James Cameron intended. All right. So Spider-Verse.
I got the next one. I can.
Go
if
ahead.
It makes it easier for you, I can read them. So,
go ahead.
I
can relax on this one.
Thoughts on Barbie surpassing La La Land as Ryan Gosling's most successful movie at the box office?
Ooh, I'm not surprised.
I like Barbie more, so deserved. I don't like La La Land, so Baba Land. That's a new one.
Baba Land. They should have made a joke about that. Honestly,
I mean, I'm not sure Barbie's the bigger film, so
yeah.
La La Land in a way is kind of an indie. So Babylon's not an indie for the budget it had. So but that doesn't star Ryan Gosling. It's just Damien Chazelle. Any other thoughts on that one?
I'm not surprised. It's not like La La Land was not successful at the box office, especially for its budget. So I'm just happy that 2 movies I love, starring my favorite working actor, are just super successful. So yeah.
Perfect. Ren, this one's only for you apparently. So me and Patrick, they don't want us to answer it, I guess. So it says
I'll just sit back and relax to this one.
You can only pick one movie from your queen Margot Robbie to watch for the rest of your life. Which one do you pick and why?
The Wolf of Wall Street, and I will not elaborate on why.
Fair enough. Lady Aaron, what are thoughts? Lady Aaron, what are your thoughts on a lot of men and conservatives hating on the Barbie movie because of the possible feminist agenda in Barbie? And have you received any terrible comments under your Barbie reviews at all, or have all of them been mostly kind comments? I can speak to that first. No, people are assholes. It is very toxic. And it's funny because each of them are saying how much the movie hates men when in fact the movie doesn't hate men. The movie actually has a whole character arc for a fucking man. So that's arguably, like, some people could make an argument, is better than Barbie's character arc. So I don't think people actually even watch the movie. And if they did, they didn't pay attention. They just hate the movie because it's a female-led film that talks about feminism and how important. Yeah, but I was taught, I had someone ask me at work, "Isn't the film woke?" And I'm like, "Do you even know what the word woke means?"
Oh boy!
And they're like, "Well, no, not really." But I just see a lot of headlines. Well, I'm like, "Well, did you watch them?" And they're like, "No, I just, like, my friends tell me it's woke, so I don't think I'm going to see it." But why are they saying it? Well, they're not telling me why. Yeah. And I'm like, then they don't know what that means. I'm like, the film is about equality between men and women. That's the basic thematics of the film. You can get deeper into all the other issues, but it literally talks about why a matriarchy and a patriarchy doesn't work. So, if you see anyone who is a little baby about this, just reply back and say they're stupid. Yeah.
You're stupid. I will not dive into specifics, but slight spoilers for Barbie. Barbie is such a feminist, anti-man movie that Barbie herself is the villain of the film. And it ends with Barbie essentially apologizing for Ken for not respecting who he is and his masculinity. So it's very anti-man, as you can tell. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. You said it all.
Horses.
Patrick, you want to add anything? Horses.
I mean, think that's the dumbest fucking claim on the planet. That word, that term, no one understands the meaning anymore. And, like, I didn't love the movie, and I will admit, I think the message on both sides is a little bit overplayed to the point that it has problems with the story and the world building and the characters. But that's an issue with, for me personally, the writing overall. It's not because I think the movie's fucking woke. No one understands what that term even fucking means anymore. Anyone who's claiming that this movie is fucking woke, I just sit there and I'm going, what brain cells do you lack? And can I give you some of mine so you fucking understand? Because
if you ask three different people what the term woke means, they'll all give you a different answer.
Well,
if they give you an answer.
One of my buddies that I went to the movie to see it with said the movie at the end was fucking woke. And I'm like, please explain to me why it's fucking woke. And I will enlighten you if you even get the definition of the term correct. And he started saying, oh, because the movie fucking hates men and everything. I'm like, no, it fucking doesn't. How does it not fucking hate men? And I proceeded to explain to him. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, do you also understand what woke means? And he's like, no. Go look at the Urban fucking Dictionary. It will tell you. Seriously, like he had no fucking clue.
Yeah.
All right, Zach. What's next?
Another one just for Ren. If Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, and Adam Driver are Pokemon trainers, what do you think would be their absolute signature Pokemon?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling feels like a Bulbasaur for some reason, and then Margot Robbie feels like a. I'm going to say it right now.
Careful what you're going to say.
Margot Robbie feels like a Charizard.
Fair enough.
I'm just going to put it out there.
You know what I just realized? Because you're Australian, Margot Robbie's Australian. There's no kangaroo Pokemon, and there's over 900 of them now.
I thought there was one. Isn't there a kangaroo Digimon?
No, there is a kangaroo Digimon with boxing gloves. He's an armored Digivolution, even though he doesn't have any armor.
There is a Australian Pokemon, but it's not a kangaroo. It's a really poor.
It's a koala.
Like it's a really poor form of a koala, and then there's one that's a bad form of like a baby kangaroo, which is a joey.
Huh. All right.
Awesome.
What's next?
Who are some actors and actresses that you think should sing a lot more in movies?
Tobin Bell. I'm going to put it out there right now. Tobin Bell, if you've ever heard... No. I'm being...
Patrick, you make claims sometimes that...
I'm being 100% serious. If you've ever heard fucking Tobin Bell sing, he's actually a damn good fucking singer. Shut up, Zach. Tobin Bell is actually a damn good fucking singer. I'm going to be fucking honest.
I don't know.
I have one.
This might be a cheat because he already sings a lot, but it's never enough to hear Hugh Jackman sing. So more of it.
Oh, the pun. Stop. Seriously, Ren, stop. Did you realize what you just did? You said never enough, and then Hugh Jackman, Greatest Showman, the song Never Enough. You
damn it! Well, it's not his song. It was an unintended.
I don't care. I don't fucking care.
It was unintentional.
It makes me sad inside.
All right, Zach, what do you got?
I had one more for that. Seth MacFarlane. I actually wish he would do a full-on musical comedy.
Oh, yeah.
He is
that's a really good one.
Amazing singer. So
nice.
And
shout.
he hasn't made an actual film in a while. I know he's done TV. I think he did the Orville. I haven't watched the new season, but that's my thing. Is that I would love to see what he would do in a musical comedy, like an R-rated one. And remember, I don't know if you guys remember, Ryan Reynolds and Channing Tatum were supposed to do an R-rated musical comedy years ago.
Yeah, they were.
So
they were.
So and Joseph Gordon-Levitt was supposed to be in it too. It was supposed to be them three. I'm like that with Seth MacFarlane, like that would be a good thing. So
I'm gonna provide a serious answer now.
Okay. I thought you were serious about Tobin Bell. You said you were serious.
I was, but I actually came up with another one, and I don't like the Lion King remake at fucking all. But Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Oh, nice.
Like, I think he should sing. I think he should actually be Like, think of it. What if they did another like Sweeney Todd, like a remake, a more modernized version, like what they're doing for Wonka, but it's like a prequel almost, but he was Sweeney Todd. I think he would have like the perfect menacing musical vocalist voice for Sweeney Todd, personally speaking. Even though I don't like the Lion King remake and it was more like talked than it was sung for Be Prepared, Chiwetel Ejiofor, like, I don't think you need to be a good singer, nor do you need to necessarily sing a musical number for it to be a great musical number. Look at, Robin Williams. I don't think he's a good singer, but the energy he provides for his songs in Aladdin are phenomenal. That makes it great. And I think Chiwetel Ejiofor provides the same sort of energy for like a villain musical role.
Yeah, true.
All
right. What's next?
All right. Andrew Seth asks, after seeing Barbie, do you think Greta Gerwig would be a good director to choose for Supergirl Women of Tomorrow?
So in my Barbie review, I did mention, and I stand by this, Greta Gerwig is now on Let Her Do Anything status. So if she was announced, I'd be excited just because she's a great director. At the same time, she hasn't done anything that specifically tells me she's a great fit for that genre, that world in general. Like, I've never seen her do any action or grand scoping action. Yeah, you have the Ken War in Barbie, but that's all played for laughs, not like serious action. It's not shot to be serious action. So I don't know. I wouldn't be against the idea if she was announced, but I haven't specifically seen anything that tells me, given what she did in this project here, she's a great fit with what we saw here to go to Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. So I don't know. It's not a yes, but it's also not a no. I hope I'm not like kind of cheating with that answer. Zach?
I would like it. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I wouldn't be against it. I would be open to it. I honestly kind of want to see her, and she's talked about this. She wants to do big and small movies. I'm surprised she's not jumping into it, because the follow-up question to this is him mentioning the success of Barbie. Do you think Greta Gerwig would want to get out of her contract to direct the 2 Narnia films? Which she wants to do those. That's not a contract thing. She wants to do those. So I don't want her to do them. I don't care to do it. I don't want to see her do a Narnia film. That's like the last thing I'd want to see her do. I don't want to see Thomas. Is that his name? Thomas? The guy who what's his Split. The fucking dude from Split, James McAvoy. Isn't his name Thomas in the original movies? Yeah,
no,
I don't know.
Mr. Temnes.
I don't know. I don't see her leaving. I don't see her leaving either. Again, like you said, she wants to do these, so I don't know why she would want. And those are going to give her big bucks. Those are going to pay her well to do like 2 or 3 of her smaller movies that she wants to do and pay for them independently. Yeah, so, she's bringing in the big bucks to that household now.
Yeah.
So, good friend of the channel, SPC Unleashed. He saw Barbie last night and oof. That's all he says. But he says that he wants to know our thoughts on Donald Glover and his brother writing Lando.
On one hand,
Atlanta, right?
No, I haven't. On one hand, it's a good sign that like, oh, there's progress on the Lando series. All right. I think it's a little bit too late, but cool. On the other, I haven't watched Atlanta, so I don't know like how good he is at writing. I don't know how good his brother is at writing. I didn't even know he had a brother. So yeah, very okay. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah.
This more comes down to me on how Mr. and Mrs. Smith is, because him and his brother did pretty much create that entire show from the bottom up down. So that show, because I love Atlanta. I've not finished it, but I love Atlanta. They both also did that show. And Atlanta is very much shifted and changed, and it's a very, very different show than what it was when the first season dropped. And that's a good thing. But a lot of his stuff that he's written by himself and with his brother is exactly like Atlanta. That does not fit in my eyes for a Lando series. But if we want to go and look at that, he did help write with 30 Rock. He did help write with Community. and Mr. and Mrs. Smith is the first thing that's a little bit more in the vein of what Lando would be, besides the sci-fi tone. So
Yeah.
if the show is great, I get more excited for this. It's not great, I don't care. I don't even want a Lando show at this point. I would rather have a Kira spinoff. That's the more thing
Yeah,
I would
I
rather
agree.
see. So
I agree.
don't
But I
know
am
why
an
we
Emilia
doing
Clarke
this.
simp.
So because Ren, Darth Maul, Emilia Clarke, people will watch.
Do it. Yeah.
Lando, Donald Glover. I don't think that grabs the general going on. That does not grab my dad. My dad likes
Not anymore, at least.
no, not
If
anymore.
it came out right after Solo, maybe.
My dad, let's put it this way. I always base it on will my dad watch.
Yeah.
He loved Game of Thrones for the most part. Loves Emilia Clarke. He loves Darth Maul. He's gonna watch that show over a Lando series. So
Yeah.
that's just my thoughts. Next question. You ready?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the comments recently that the MCU needs a reboot?
I have not seen those comments, but I disagree.
I
And
agree.
and we're heading that way anyway. So
Yeah, exactly. He also asked, after seeing the finale of Secret Invasion, where can you see the MCU taking Gaia's character next? So basically, where do you think she would show up next? If it's in your video, though, just plug your video if you have an idea.
no. It's not my, as of right now, at least it's not my video, because I think so. My video, my Secret Invasion, without spoiling too much, ends in essentially the same way, but because of the differences I made along the way, the changes I made along the way,
Make more
it
sense.
opens new doors. So,
Okay.
like, Gaia is alive still by the end of my Secret Invasion, but my Secret Invasion doesn't end with a, oh my god, look at all these millions of scrolls. As Zach knows, that's not how the show ends. How my show ends, at least. So yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm not gonna lie. If Sentry wasn't the villain in Thunderbolts, I actually would assume she would be the villain of Thunderbolts. Actually,
I thought of the
timeline-wise,
exact same thing.
it makes more sense. Like for that, like don't get me wrong, Stephen Yeun as Sentry, such inspired casting.
Yeah, 100%.
But in terms of where we are in the MCU right now, Gaia makes more sense to be the villain of that, and it would be literally a super powered human being like that.
And even if she wasn't the villain, like, put that character in the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Because for every intents and purposes, as a Skrull, she is now a quote-unquote war criminal. Even though she was on our side, people are going to look at her as a war criminal.
For Valentini or whatever to show up and say, "Oh,
Valentina.
I've been working with Olivia Colman. I'm putting together."
Or
Whatever.
even instead of the Olivia Colman character showing up to her, it should have been Valentina.
Yeah.
Like, I'll keep all these millions of scrolls a secret as long as you come work for me.
Do you know where she's going to be at? She's going to be in Fantastic Four. Somewhere, shape, and form, she'll be in Fantastic Four.
Has to be, because she is a super Skrull.
Yeah, and that's like where they're mostly shown at. So
yeah, 100%.
So unless they, I don't know. I'm fucking over it. A lot of these are stuff we've already talked about. Okay, here's another one. After seeing one of your dream on-screen pairs with Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling and Barbie, what are some other actors and actresses pairs you'd like to see? That's a little hard, but just like kind of off the top. I would love to see Dan Stevens with Emma Stone. I would kind of like to see them too, I guess.
Okay.
Nice. I want Dan Stevens to get more work. And then another
we
one.
We don't get enough of Dan Stevens.
Exactly. Sure. Another one I would like is if we're sticking with Ryan Gosling, I'd want to put like a Tessa Thompson with him or a Thandie Newton. Like do some like badass. He's doing that stuntman action film with David Leitch next year, but well.
Oh yeah, the Fall Guys.
Yeah. So I've heard it. I've heard it's really good. I've heard
it does sound really good. Super fun. I don't know that I have more like actor-actress pairings, but it's a really good question. Like, I would love, now that we've seen Gosling and Robbie, I would love to see Robbie and Cavill. That would be another one that would get me excited.
That'd be a good one. Because Robbie and Gosling, their next film is that Oceans film. That Ocean's.
It's the best Ocean's movie. It's coming. It's coming. Finally. I'm not biased at all, by the way. But yeah, that's a really good one. I would also like to see Aussie Babies, Chris Hemsworth and Margot Robbie together. That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
All
right, what's next?
Nathan Madigan, thoughts on the first trailer for The Exorcist Believer, and do you have any faith that David Gordon Green will make a worthy successor?
I'll let you go, Patrick, because I also have some thoughts. So, The Exorcist is my favorite, and to me, the greatest horror movie of all time, still. I love the original Exorcist. So, let's answer the easiest part of the question first. Do I have any faith? No. Given what he did with Halloween.
And they want to do a trilogy. So that means
they want to do a trilogy. So the first one is called Believer. The next one is called Deceiver. And I don't know what the last one is called.
Retriever.
The Exorcist, Golden Retriever. What did I think of the trailer? I don't think it's awful, to be honest. But I have the same thoughts on that trailer that I have about every solo or original Exorcist movie that comes out. Oh, this is a ripoff of The Exorcist, because no Exorcism movie since the original Exorcist has been able to do anything at all. Maybe Exorcist 3 a little bit, but has been able to do anything at all that was like, oh, this stands out from what The Exorcist. No, like of any horror subgenre, this is the one that has never been able to like do anything beyond what the original quote unquote did. So I don't think it's awful, but I don't think it's good either. And for a movie called Exorcist Believer, not once did they play Smash Mouth's I'm a Believer during that trailer. So I need someone to do that edit for me, please. Thank you. Patrick? Go off.
I don't want to fucking talk about it. Look, I'm a massive fan of The Exorcist, but I'm an even bigger fan of The Exorcist 3. I actually think The Exorcist 3 is better.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I know plenty of people that agree with me, but that's not the point here. I think the trailer is fucking awful. There isn't a single thing in that trailer that even remotely interests me. It seems totally inconsistent. The story is not even remotely interesting. A lot of the dialogue choices that they showed off in the trailer, I just sat there and I cringed like I was sucking a lemon. Like that moment that was just inherently just wait, huh? Where it's like, how long do you think you've been missing? I don't know, a couple hours? Honey, you were gone for 3 days. And I'm just like, like for some reason that just comes off inherently stupid to me. There is not a single thing. Like, I love the location of this movie, don't get me wrong, and there's nothing even remotely like visually special about it either. And one thing that I think about with the original movie was the spectacular visuals on display. It was on display, sorry. It was just very eerie, very creepy, not even from the audio, just the visuals of the movie alone, the way the camera is framed, the way it's directed, the way it moves, like the camera, and also how everything flows together. Nothing in this trailer came off anything special to me. Look, David Gordon Green did a great job with Halloween, like the first Halloween sequel in 2018. I'm someone who defends Halloween Kills. I think Halloween Ends is fucking dog shit. I hate that movie and the way they decided to take it. I don't understand the choices. Look, I'm one of the people, though, who was holding out hope and thinking maybe it was just a bad trailer. Maybe the movie is better than what is being showcased. And maybe this is a Halloween 2018 for The Exorcist. And that's my wishful thinking. But that's wishful thinking.
Do you want me to help your thinking? I know someone who's seen this movie. I know someone too, and they've said it's really bad. Exactly what he just said.
They've said it's worse than Exorcist 2, which is a very...
Well, I have the unapologetic opinion that I think the first Exorcist is the most overrated movie that's ever been made. I fucking hate that movie. I think it's awful. No, fuck you. You wanted Tobin Bell or whatever the fuck his name is to sing.
No. He said he doesn't like La La Land. That's why you asked me to kick him.
Oh, yeah, that's
I didn't kick Patrick, so now I won't kick Zach. It's only fair.
Fair enough.
But yeah. Also, by the way, can I just point out before we move on, how stupid is it that Ellen Burstyn is the guy that as the character that like comes back and like she's the expert. She's the mom. She saw what happened
Yeah.
and called someone else for help. The only reason why she's the one coming back is because Max von Sydow, the actual exorcist, is not alive anymore.
That
Why
would
not
have been
bring
cool for him to come back. That would have
Why
been
not
cool
bring
for him to
back
come
Reagan, the one who actually went fucking through it? That would make the
Like,
most fucking sense.
Maybe
within
she's
the
in the
movie's
movie.
logic. Yeah, within the movie's logic is so stupid that like, oh, let's call the mom of the person who was possessed, not the exorcist that actually helped her.
But you know
Or
what,
the
like, I'm
person who was
confused on by
possessed.
it is, like, isn't there a ton of exorcisms that happen? Like, it's not, like, the one and only. Like, is it just the worst one that, like,
Why
I
not
don't know.
bring
I haven't
the
seen the
one from
trailer for
Exorcist
this.
3?
I haven't seen the trailer for this. David Gordon Green has fucking lost me. I'm over it. I don't even know if I
Yeah.
want to go see this. Like, to be completely honest, like, if there's a press screen, I might not go. I do not care to watch this movie. I
will care to watch it. I might not care to review it.
I'm of the
Oh.
exact same boat. Like I've gotten to that point where if it's like an absolutely awful fucking movie, I just don't have the energy to review it.
Well, it's
Hell,
not even that. I'm over. I don't want an Exorcist movie. I don't want
Yeah.
another one.
I
I
agree.
didn't need this. I would have rather them made another Halloween. I
No.
truthfully, and it probably would have been asked too. But at this point, because at least you
No.
can make it. It doesn't matter. There's countless exorcism movies. It looks generic as shit. I'm over it.
I've had a lot of comments in my comment section recently. If you had to choose between a duology this Halloween, what movies would you go see? I will go see Saw 10 and Five Nights at Freddy's over seeing The
Yep.
Exorcist Believer even fucking once.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's looks great. So
I know someone who's
All
seen
right.
the test screenings.
I do too.
What's next?
G. Colby asks, after Secret Invasion, do you guys ever look back and think maybe Marvel doing TV series wasn't the best idea? Even if you like most of the shows, as a lot of people cite them as the reason why excitement for the MCU isn't really that high, or Bob Iger said diluted the Marvel brand, and how a lot of them don't serve as well, but would have worked better as movies. Maybe Marvel should have scaled back and done more special presentations.
First of all,
That's
I
not
loved
a-
how you
that's-
embodied the question. Second of all, the problem is that they didn't do TV shows, and I like or love most of them. The problem is they did too many. We don't need this many.
At a
Looking
certain
back,
quality too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
whether they're good or bad, like however it turned out, I think, and Secret Invasion is a tough one to see because it just happened. We don't see yet how it can correlate, but I'm willing to bet, even if it is not the best show, I think Secret Invasion was an interesting one to do. WandaVision, Loki, Ms. Marvel, and Moon Knight is one of my favorite shows.
Same.
But right now, I don't know why that one happened. And we're far enough removed from it where I can say it was a necessary one or it wasn't, either way. So I just don't think we needed that many, and we didn't need that many so fast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would have maybe like, how many do we have now? 9, 10, something like
9 or
that.
something.
I think 5.
You know,
maybe 6.
You know how they
would
should
have
be
been good
structuring
enough?
these? They should be structuring them as, oh my god, this movie came out. Oh, you like that character? Well, we're going to do a show for them that is going to make you more excited and learn more about them. So Moon Knight should have been introduced somewhere else. Then you go back and see, how did we get here with Oscar Isaac?
Yeah.
That's what would have made that show. I like most of the shows as well, man. But my biggest thing now with a lot of them is when I watch them, I have always 3 complaints. It always feels too rushed by the end.
Yeah.
By literally the finale, I'm like, this is rushed. Feels too short.
Except Loki.
Except Loki is the only one I think was perfectly done. It's not my favorite one, but it is my second favorite one.
And it is the one that feels most like a TV show.
Exactly. And that's where
WandaVision felt like a TV show.
WandaVision did to a certain extent. It just felt rushed at the end.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
But Moon Knight could have easily been a movie. It's cool that they didn't, but why not just do, I don't know, a gritty TVM kind of special presentation that's 55 minutes to maybe even an hour and a half of Moon Knight. And it's technically a movie, but maybe it wouldn't succeed in theaters. There's ideas that they could do. They just need to figure out what they're doing. And again, we might look back and be like, oh my God, everything made sense. It's hard for us to view it now because there's so many
by
things
the end of
going
the
on.
multiverse saga.
Yeah. The way I'm taking the MCU right now is that everything is pretty much separated. Everyone's doing their own thing. Everything's opened up. The floodgates are open. Nothing's really connecting. And it honestly doesn't need to right now. I think it's cool that we're getting different ideas because what did people want from the MCU? They wanted everything standalone. But then people complain that it is too standalone.
Yeah.
So, but then it's a quality issue. And I think that's the thing that most people are. Like talking to general friends who just don't really care, they think the quality of most of these shows have been ass, which that's not good.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them have just given up.
By the way, I am infamously, or perhaps famously, known as me and Zach collectively, like the two guys who love the MCU more than most. I will tell you right now, overall I enjoyed watching Secret Invasion. I don't think it's the worst MCU movie or show. Secret Invasion has the worst, dumbest fucking thing the MCU has ever done, and that is Rhodey being a Skrull since Civil War. That is changed in my rewrites, by the way. That is the single worst fucking thing the MCU has ever done. By far. It's not the fight. It's not even She-Hulk twerking. Rhodey being a Skrull since Civil War is the worst fucking thing they've done. It's so fucking stupid. I hate it with a passion. As much as I love the MCU in general, that's how much I hate.
They will.
And by the way, the fucking director saying, "Oh, I think he's been a Skrull." Bro, it's your show. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. I gotta, dude, I have to imagine they will retcon that.
It's look, at this point, and it's gonna be retcon. It's not gonna be one where it's like, oh, this was the plan all along. No. You get to Secret Wars or even Kang Dynasty, this is a multiverse. Or Armor Wars, this is a multiverse.
Yeah.
All these stories are different multiverses, and they're gonna collide in Secret Wars. And that's why in one universe, Rhodey was a Skrull. In another universe, we had She-Hulk breaking the fourth wall. In another universe, and I don't know. And I'm not saying like every single one of them is a different multiverse, but like let's say I don't know, randomly, Moon Knight and Secret Invasion and Eternals are in one universe, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier and Ms. Marvel and the Marvels are in this one universe, and a collection of them are like from universes. All right, Zach, what's next?
G. Colby also asked, do you guys now go into upcoming MCU projects with more caution, even the ones that you're excited for?
I'm not. Like I said, I love the MCU, and for all the fumbles that they've been doing lately, and again, I'm someone who sees less fumbles than most people, admittedly. Like other people see more fumbles, so they'll be less excited naturally. Even with She-Hulk, even with Secret Invasion, all that, they still offered me 35 plus great, or at the very least, good things. So I'm at least going as excited for each individual project, like depending on when they are, on where they rank for me. Like if I wasn't excited for something before, I'm not suddenly excited for it. But if I was very excited for something before, I'm not suddenly not excited.
Yeah, I'm more cautious on the shows now than I am the movies.
Yeah,
the movies, they're fine.
Enough.
There's only been one miss for me in like the last few years, and that was Ant-Man. Ant-Man was the only. I didn't hate it, but the more I thought about it, I just don't ever care to rewatch that. The shows are where I'm more cautious at now. Like Secret Invasion.
I just ordered the Steelbook for Quantumania, by the way.
See,
how dare you?
Every time I get like the screeners, I'm like, this is a great start. And every episode review, I said, but next week it could be terrible. And then once we got to episode 3, I'm like, all right, starting to lose me. And then 4 happened, and I'm like, that was not good. That
better be a fake out.
Yeah, and it wasn't. So.
And it wasn't. By the way, I also killed Talos in mine, but I fucking earn it, my friends.
Yeah, Patrick, what about you? I know you don't really give a fuck.
You're in a very different.
It's not that I don't give a fuck. I'm just very indifferent when it comes to the MCU nowadays. It's like
so you don't give a fuck. That's literally what it means.
I'm just sort of like whenever I go to see an MCU movie nowadays, it's like I'm dipping my hand into a lucky dip. I could either get a great movie like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 or Eternals. I could get something just inherently mediocre like Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. and Miss
Oh,
Marvel
okay.
and Hawkeye, but that doesn't necessarily mean I don't enjoy watching them. I just think they're fine, but there's not really much to talk about overall. But
Fair enough.
then there are the ones that I just don't care to ever watch again, like Thor: Love and Thunder, Ant-Man: Quantumania. I really don't fucking like those movies. I really, really didn't like Moon Knight. I understand that's a hot take, but I was one of the people who really didn't like that show. She-Hulk was just there. It wasn't when it comes to MCU movies or shows anymore. I sort of just sit there and I'm like, I'll see it, but I'm in no rush because the lower I set my expectations and once all that hype dies down, I feel like I'm enjoying them more looking at them not from a critical perspective, but just from a general audience perspective now. Like, I guarantee you, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed Black Panther: Wakanda Forever if I was looking at it from a critical perspective. I enjoyed it because I hate how the action scenes are shot in that movie in particular. I had a fucking migraine, especially on the bridge fight. Like, that was just, ugh. Like, I am not a fan of quick cut, shaky cam editing whatsoever. I don't understand what the fuck happened. And the CG,
The hand-to-hand
writing.
combat sequences, yeah, because I love the invasion of Wakanda. I love the big
Yeah,
action
that stuff's
sequence on
cool.
like the boat or the sub. Like
Yeah,
at the end,
even
but
though the green screen, the
I
CG's a little bit wonky.
yeah,
but
I don't
it's
like
not-
that bridge fight. I don't like Shuri versus Namor one-on-one.
No, I
yeah.
don't like that at all. And that's where my issues come into play. It's like
Yeah,
I
fair
enjoy
enough.
like half of each project. Like Secret Invasion. I didn't like this most of episode 3, but I thought episode 1 and 2 were fine, but I just haven't cared to continue watching. I never finished She-Hulk. Like I sort of watched like the first half of the show, but then I was like, it's just
Watch the
there,
last 2
but
episodes. You will literally not miss a beat. Actually, the
oh,
last
cool.
3. The last 3.
Okay. I'm someone who didn't think Hawkeye was fine, but that was a show that felt like it knew exactly what it was, and for that I enjoyed it more because
That's
it
true.
felt more self-aware. I really enjoyed Hawkeye. I loved WandaVision, and I've come around on Loki. I didn't like Loki the first time I watched it, but that's the thing. I feel like when it comes to the MCU and most comic book properties nowadays, unless it's like manga and anime, that I just sort of walk in even more cautious than most. It's not that I don't want to love these movies and I don't want to get excited. I am a comic book fan. I loved most MCU projects leading up to Avengers Endgame. It's just the quality.
And you loved Eternals.
And I loved it. Fuck, I adored Eternals. I actually think Eternals and Shang-Chi are the 2 best MCU movies that have come out since Endgame. That's my personal opinion. I love those 2 movies. Shang-Chi, again, another example of a movie that I walked out of the theater going, that wasn't that great. And then I saw it again. I fucking love that movie. And who knows, maybe it's just some re-watches that will take me appreciating these movies more. But there is
Shang-Chi, top 5 MCU villains.
Agree. I 100% agree. I really do. But I guess that's just my caution now. I walk out going, it's not so great. But then the moment I rewatch it, I understand what it is a little bit more. But that's because I've been let down so many times with movies like Thor: Love and Thunder and Quantumania that I sort of do walk in just way more fucking cautious nowadays because I just don't want to be disappointed. The same goes, I feel, for example, for the DCEU. I've been loving Lois, Superman and Lois. But then I look at the recent Flash stuff. I rewatched Flash the other day. Oh, man, was I not right with that review that I gave it. Oh, fucking boy. But shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Yeah.
All right. G. Colby asks, with Mutant Mayhem coming out, what's your favorite iteration of the Turtles, and what's a property that you love that would work well in that same style of animation?
My favorite iteration is the 2012 animated series on Nickelodeon.
I need to watch that. I need to finish it.
It's so good.
It's all on Paramount.
It is all on,
in the United States.
Paramount Plus. Yeah. It's so good. Like the first season, I believe the first season has all these like episodic kind of stories. But as you go in season 2, you start to think, oh, this is a seed they actually planted. And the more you go on the show, the more serialized it becomes and the grander the scope is and all that.
The animation
and they go
always
hardcore.
turned me off for that show.
I felt when I started that show, I'm like, oh, I hate these designs. I don't like it, blah, blah. And then you just get into it. It's like the first time I watched Dark, I was like, I don't know if the German is going to like put me off of watching that. And boom, just got into the show easily. And I just finished my rewatch of Dark, so yeah. But yeah, that's my favorite iteration.
I have
What
one for you.
property would work?
I have
Go
one,
ahead.
Ren, but I want Patrick to go first. Then I'm going to say mine because you'll be excited for it. You'll be
Okay.
excited for it.
Just clarifying, we're talking about like TV shows and movies for the Ninja
Yes.
Turtles property.
Anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay, so my favorite TV show, I know Ren and I discussed this last week about the 2012 TV show, how much we love that. But I actually have so many fond memories, and it is still my favorite iteration in TV show form of the Ninja Turtles, being the 2003 to 2010 animated series. I think that is such a good animated series. I had every single disc like under the fucking sun for that show. It was so good. I think it was for season 1 or 2. I watched it so much that it was unplayable because it was so scratched up as a kid. Like I
still remember waking up on the weekends and getting my cereal as I watched that version of the.
Yep,
of the
I would do that every fucking morning. And as for the show, movies, sorry, I'm gonna be honest. The 2007 fucking movie is so good. I remember going
in terms
to see
of movies. I think I have to go with that one with TMNT too.
I remember buying like the special box box art for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2007 movie, and depending on which one you had, it had a little cover on the front that was a slip cover, but when you pulled out the slip cover, the slip itself had a little box on the front that you could pop out the back, a TMNT character that was like a lucky dip. And I think it was like Australia exclusive, but I remember getting Donatello. But like you could get any of the villains, you could get April O'Neil, you could get any of the Turtles, you could get Splinter.
Nice.
You could get any of the Foot Clan or anything like that, which I thought was so cool. But I just have so many fond memories of that movie. I remember that being like one of the movies that my mother and I would sit down and watch every fucking weekend for the longest period of time. Like it was just so good, and I still love it to this day.
It's an underrated movie. It's really sad that it flopped so hard. Zach, what do you got?
All right, so for me, it's the 2003 2010. That's what actually introduced me to the Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
But what would work well in that same Power Rangers? Do a fucking animated Power Rangers film in the Spider-Verse animation.
That would be great.
Fucking,
I'm fucking in.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm surprised you didn't say that.
Ren's right now sitting here with his lotion and getting his wet wipes ready.
Oh Jesus, no.
The only other one I would think would be kind of cool is if Disney took, which I know you guys did a topic on this, Gargoyles. If they did Gargoyles and if they wanted to do a different type of animations that are live action, but live action's cool too. G. Colby, Zach, now that you're Rotten Tomatoes approved critic, which congrats by the way, have you ever thought about putting your thoughts on certain films when you're doing a ranking on there, or just films you reviewed whether recently or in the past? Okay, so it's kind of cool. Like now I understand how the system works a bit more. So you can't include rankings on there. It has to be a review. But they ask that you go back and do every review you've ever done. So I've been doing when I'm in office at work and I don't have a lot more to do, I do every a year. So I think I've backtracked all the way to I think I'm on 2020 right now. I think the next review I have to do is Wonder Woman 1984. But it literally it asks you, would you recommend this movie or you're not? If you would recommend it, it's fresh. If you wouldn't, it's rotten. But what I've realized while doing this is I don't review a lot of the movies I hate because I just don't like them. So
you've upped the Babylon score.
Yes, I have. I have upped
your
next
most important mission is to up the Man of Steel score when you get to it.
I'm going to point out
I have reviewed it, so I can do it.
I'm going to point out as well. I'm looking on Zach's catalog right now, and what is it? He gave you liked The Sun, didn't you, Ren?
I love this.
I was rotten on that one. I gave that one.
Yeah,
rotten.
He gave that one rotten.
I didn't like it. I know.
All right, what's next?
So, last but not least, will Barbie pass Super Mario Brothers at the highest grossing films of the year? I think we've talked about this, but I'm at the point of just saying So
yes,
and that is it. I've refreshed. I have no more.
That's it. Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. Let me double check on my end. That we got. Since we're getting everything anyway, let me double check. Hang on. I remember seeing a cool one that we missed because it
Oh,
was about
wait,
karaoke.
where?
Okay, here it is. Lady Erin. With I'm Just Ken officially on your karaoke playlist, what are some other go-to karaoke songs that you would belt out anywhere, whether it be in the car or a karaoke? Well, you only
Ooh.
belt out karaoke at a karaoke bar. So definitely on my playlist is 3090 from Tick Tick Boom,
Yep.
Sweet Child of Mine, um, Uptown Girl, but the Westlife version. I know, unpopular opinion, but I think that one in particular is better than Billy Joel's version. A lot of songs from The Greatest Showman, but particularly On the Other Side. The Other Side is the one I usually go to because it's the one my other friends like the most or know the most. It's not an extensive playlist, but that is pretty much it from what I remember. So yeah. Patrick, what are your go-to karaoke songs?
I have a couple. My first one is what is it? Zen Zen Zens from Kimi no Nawa. I
Oh!
love that song
Oh!
so much that I do know it by heart. I am also gonna say, because I'm looking at my actual karaoke list right now, Nickelback's "Burn It to the Ground" is
Ooh,
such a
nice.
good fucking song. I'm also gonna bring up "Sparkle" from Kimi no Nawa as well
Yeah.
as another one. What is another one that I've got here that came to mind like immediately? You know what? I'm going to bring up one of the most obscure but underrated musicals ever. But Just a Simple Sponge from SpongeBob the Musical is such a good song. If you've never heard the soundtrack for SpongeBob the Musical, I highly recommend treating yourself, as it is actually a lot of the songs are written by prolific, musicians like David Bowie and Queen. Actually did their, some writing for this and wrote songs for the musical. I'm also going to say Blacklight from One Piece film Red is a damn good but challenging song to do karaoke for. Nickelback again for She Keeps Me Up.
Oh, yeah.
Just such a fun jam, that song. And then I know Zach loved this game, but I found it, even though it's a more mellow song, but from the Callisto Protocol, a song that I love doing karaoke for is actually Lost Again, which is the end credit song for that game. I don't love the game, but I love the soundtrack for it.
All right. Zach, what are your go-tos?
I've only done it once, so Santeria Sublime.
You've only done karaoke once.
Yep. So that's the one.
All right. Speaking of karaoke, anyone heard the new Post Malone album? It's amazing.
Yeah,
Go
it's fucking incredible. It's fucking
I'm not a
incredible.
Post Malone fan, so I can't say I have.
It's not like his other Patrick. It's not like his other music. It's like,
oh, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot different.
It's fucking sad, but yeah.
Okay. I'll have to give it a look. I got another one for you, Ren, by the way, just really quickly.
Go.
My mates and I go karaoke once every second weekend. We get fucking blackout drunk. But I'm Still Here from Treasure Planet is actually one that my buddy and I sing together all the time. Every single time we go to karaoke, we always sing I'm Still Here, and we annoy the place we go to every single fucking time.
I'm going to flex on you all right now. I know that song in English, in Portuguese, in Spanish, and in Italian. And I know it by heart in all those 4 languages. I don't know how I forgot that one, because that's one I go to. But the disappointing thing is, no one else fucking knows the song anywhere I karaoke it. So yeah.
Really? We have it
like
in so many places.
Like there's
here.
maybe one person that like, oh, but yeah.
Because our karaoke place that we go to is right in a bowling alley as well. But you can literally walk outside and queue up a playlist. They literally use like Spotify as like a playlist thing for the bowling alley and for the karaoke, and it just has like the lyric videos and you sing with it.
Yeah. I wish I had more cultured people here. All right, last question, because I saw this one before the show. I talked about Patrick about this one, and I wanted to get it. From Andrew Seif? What is your favorite fast food restaurant, and what is your usual go-to order? Patrick, let's start with you.
You know, I'm going to go very fucking generic, but I'm going to go Macca's, but I get a massive meal at fucking Macca's. I get a large triple cheeseburger meal with extra cheese, added bacon, and an extra patty. So it's technically a quadruple cheeseburger with large fries. I get a large chocolate frappe, as well as a large latte with that too, to sort of, you know, warm me up a bit. And
You're
then I
giving me a
also
heart
get...
attack while you say this. Like my heart's literally like pumping.
I'm
more
also,
blood
on top of
as you
that,
say
getting
this.
a large chicken and cheese burger meal, which adds another large fries with a chicken and cheeseburger with an extra half slice of cheese and an extra chicken patty on top of that. And then to top things off, I get a double Big Mac on top of it with no pickles. And just to give to perspective, our meal portions are half the size of America's, so don't worry, your cholesterol is fine, Zach.
Doesn't sound like
Unless
it.
you have it every day.
I
Zach,
don't
what do you
have it
got?
every day. It's like once a week.
I don't really have any like main ones. Just because I go to more hole in the wall stuff. So nothing that like just is like Mexican food and stuff. But that's usually what my go-to is.
Mine, so lately, the one I go to most of the time because it's a lighter meal. It doesn't, it isn't necessarily fast food because it's actually real meat and all that. It's Chipotle. I just go there because it's practical when I'm going to the cinema. Like I can eat it on the way and all that. But my go-to favorite fast food restaurant, my go-to meal and my go-to favorite restaurant is a family-sized pizza at Pizza Hut with a cheesy bites crust. Cheese inside. Usually I like make my own. I add chicken, bacon, grounded
Olives.
sausage.
You better have olives on there.
jalapeno. I don't. I have pineapple, which
How
is
fucking dare
fantastic.
you?
I like olives on pizza. It's like the only place I like olives, but it's not like something I request. It's something if it comes on a pizza, I'm like, yeah. But
what about mushrooms? Do you get mushrooms at least?
Also, not something like I ask for, but if it comes, yeah that's perfectly fine.
I'm the weirdo who will eat mushrooms raw after they've been peeled, and I will also eat olives out of the jar, like with a big tablespoon.
No.
I will eat
Like
olives
I
out
literally
of the
don't
jar.
like olives, but in pizza, perfectly fine.
Yeah, but I'm also the same person who eats Vegemite out of the tub with a spoon. And that shit is salty, and it's not like small bits of Vegemite either. It's big. Like that shit.
Yeah.
Recommendation, Vegemite is not disgusting. Just spread it on fucking toast evenly and you'll actually fucking enjoy it, you stupid. It's not that hard. Don't eat it out of the tub.
So that's my go-to meal. And if you're asking, ooh, family size for how many people? Just for me, baby. That's why I have this size.
1 and 2.
1 and 2. And that is it for this week's This Week in Geek. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I really need to go to the bathroom. I really need to go edit my Secret Invasion rewrite. Patrick needs to do some editing. Zach needs to get some breakfast. Thank you so much for watching. We are back next week, and we hope to see you all there. Thank you so much for joining us. And until the next one, love each other and love the movies. Bye-bye, everybody.